Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit North Node, square, opposition, or inconjunct one's natal node. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve the North Node, it can be about a future, destiny, what you're learning and aspiring to be, what you're directed toward. And when you have transit North Node basically making an adverse aspect to one's natal moon. Now, I'm going to elaborate on that. When I say basically adverse aspect, okay, the squares and oppositions in astrology, those aspects, of course, are negative and adverse, but the inconjunct is neutral, and when you have a neutral aspect, it can have good and bad qualities, and coupled with the fact that an inconjunct can often require an adjustment or transition. So I do see this basically collectively as an adverse transit or aspect. So anyway, again, when transit North Node is basically making an adverse aspect to one's natal moon, well, it could manifest in the future. It could be the destiny, what you're learning and aspiring to be, what you're directed toward. Those things, may conflict, with your emotional needs. For one thing, you can have your future. You might feel your future is one thing, and at the same time, your emotional needs, you might be conflicting with this if you're talking about Gemini, Moon in Gemini, say, and the transit North Node is in Sagittarius. The future may, be more with long distance traveling. Gemini is about short journeys. It's about, the street sense, being streetwise. And then the Sagittarius North Node is more about, your higher education and, what you're learning, in higher education from as far as, book sense. And so it's really, you can have a very strong conflict with this. And the thing about this too is that you keep in mind the home, the moon is connected with the home, the family, and the mother. So it could be where people in your family, the mother, they could be adversarial. As far as where you're trying to go in terms of your future, they might be opposed to it. It might be a situation where what you want to do, what you're learning and aspiring to be, may conflict or challenge activities that are with the family that are done in the home at this time. And the thing about this is this transit, and you keep in mind the moon is connected with our reactions, our responses, and the thing is we may not, when you have this transit, you may not always respond well to really where you believe, where you have that inkling as far as your future goes, what your mission, what your purpose is at this time. And the thing is, it can make it a very trying or tough period when you do have this transit. It can be a situation where you might be. The moon is also connected with our past and our memories, and this is where you could be conflicted with the past and your future. It could be there might be some memories with the past that are challenging you as far as moving forward. Maybe you had some negative experiences somewhere, and you just you feel because of this, it's hard for you to go to go forward into your future. I mean, say for example, if the natal moon is in Taurus, you might be more inclined, even if it's on a subconscious level, to be, lack of a better word, maybe a little bit more monotonous or stable and sticking with what you feel really, at home with. You have your creature comforts. It's having just basic, simple things. And let's say if the transit North Node is in Aquarius, well, Aquarius is connected with the future. It's progressive, it's innovative, and it wants to, it's really, that's really forward-moving energy and getting out. Aquarius energy is unorthodox and going out, really going, it's about doing things that are just things that you may never have even done before. So you could see where there would be a conflict with that example. Now, another thing too is that anatomically speaking, the moon is connected with the chest, the breast, the stomach, ribs, and water retention. It's also connected with the left or right eye, depending on gender. And when you have this transit, it could be if you have any of those issues I described that are anatomically connected with the moon, they might challenge where you're trying to go in terms of moving forward, where you feel where you're directed toward at this time in learning and aspiring to be. These things can present a challenge at this time with this transit, if you are experiencing this transit. Um, it can also be, again, the moon is connected with the unconscious. And there might be something, on the unconscious side of you that may be, is challenging, in terms of going forward at this time, and really moving into, in terms of moving into the future and moving forward, going where you feel your destiny is and your future, your mission, what the purpose is at this time. And again, it could be very challenging to your home life at this time, because there might be things that are at home that may be taking precedence over you moving forward, or vice versa at this time. And the thing is too, the moon is also, of course, it's our feelings and our emotions. And it might be a time too where it might be bringing out some very, I'd say, negative feelings, or you're just as far as trying to move forward at this time, and you might not feel like going forward. You might not. It might be a situation where you would rather just be doing things that are at home, or you feel close to home with, as in contrast to actually taking another step, going to where that north node could be directing you at this point in time. The moon could also be connected with the public, so it could be a situation where you feel at this time your future may be adversarial toward the public. You might not want to be doing anything that's associated with the public, and you might feel more inclined toward introverted activities. Or if you're at a job where it's not really so much dealing with the public, like say if you're in like factory work or something, and you're just working alongside employees, and you're not dealing with other people other than employees coming in and out of that area, that place of business or what have you. And the moon is also associated with the prominent women in our life. So it could be where these prominent women may not be in agreement with what you're trying to do, where you're going in terms of moving forward, what you may be learning and aspiring to be at this time, what you feel you're directed toward, at this point in time. Say if the transit north node is in Sagittarius, it might be something with advertising or publishing, immigration, working with foreigners, exploration or adventure, as some examples. Now, another way this transit may manifest, it could be that qualities that are needed to be developed may conflict with what you feel like doing at this time. Let's say if the transit north node is in Gemini in the 9th house as an example, it could be about having diversity, which is Gemini, in your philosophy, in your beliefs, which is the ninth house as an example. Now, also too, issues that may need to be addressed or confronted may challenge matters pertaining to the home, the family, the mother at this time. Say, for example, if the transit north node is in Capricorn in the 12th house as an example. Now, it could be some kind of business, which is Capricorn, fraud, which is the 12th house. It may be something that has to be dealt with, and it may be, again, taking precedence over matters pertaining to the home, the family, including the mother at this time. Now, also, too, another way this transit may be expressed, it could be where your future lies may conflict with what your emotional needs are. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, let's say, for example, if the North Node is in Pisces in the 11th house. Now, it could be, where your future lives may be connected with relaxing or overlooking the transgressions or defaults, which is Pisces, of friends. Or it could even be a Pisces related goal or aspiration, such as something with the metaphysical, which includes astrology, dancing, poetry, photography, anesthesiology, oceanography as some examples. Could also be at this time of this transit, could be harder to attain what you're aspiring and learning to be, due to the fact that there may be home related matters that are taking precedence over this, because you might not really feel like, you may just not feel like really trying to learn or aspiring to be something that you haven't maybe done before. It could be like, say, for example, if the transit North Node is in Aquarius, it could be doing something with astrology or computers, electronics, innovation, astronomy, meteorology as some examples. Or it could be some characteristics associated with Aquarius, such as being more unobtrusive, selfless, altruistic, showing consideration as some examples. But anyway, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.